Welcome back, everyone. True Crime Arizona, gone in 90 seconds. That's what detectives say happened when 11-year-old Mikelle Biggs disappeared 22 years ago while waiting for the ice cream truck in her Mesa neighborhood.
Her sister wasn't even gone a few minutes when she came back out to the bike lying on the ground and no Mikelle.
On National Missing Children's Day, Brandon Whitney revisits the timeline of events and returns to the place Mikelle was last seen before she vanished. It's tonight's True Crime Arizona.
The lighting right now, like it's very blue. That is one of those things I remember very distinctly from that night.
The memories come flooding back.
I was standing over there in that vicinity and she was right here and she would do like a smaller circle and then like a bigger circle, and her blonde hair in the sunset was very like flowing behind her. I didn't realize how precious that moment was, and it is very much like a movie scene.
One glance back over her shoulder to cross the road, etched in Kimber Biggs' mind forever.
I didn't know anything was going to change in that moment.
Cheryl and Mikelle.
Just let her come home.
We wanted to talk to people that normally traverse through the area.
The sun set on a winter night.
January 2nd, 1999. A call came out for a missing child. We headed that way. This case pretty quickly felt different.
11-year-old Mikelle Biggs had disappeared while riding her bike and waiting for the ice cream truck. Mesa PD Detective Steve Barry was part of the search.
I recall the helicopter flying overhead and all the officers, we specifically going up and down alleyways.
Mikelle's little sister, 9-year-old Kimber, had gone inside for less than 2 minutes.
I yelled from the driveway, Mikelle, all annoyed. And then that's when I turned and I looked, and I didn't see her down there. So I looked the other way and I was like, where is she?
Then she saw the bike in the street.
I just saw like something and the tire on it was still spinning and it was dust. I just remember feeling just off. Something felt off.
Her mom was sure Mikelle was just at the neighbor's house.
And I walked to their house and they were like, she's not here.
The neighbors helped her look around and found the 2 quarters Mikelle had been holding for the ice cream truck on the ground. Kimber went back to her house and locked eyes with her mom.
And I said, we can't find Mikelle. And her face went white.
A massive search was underway from home to home in the East Valley to the middle of the desert.
It's just not in her nature to just leave like that.
I don't know at what point I heard the word kidnapped, but I really didn't grasp that concept before that night.
Search dogs picked up Mikelle's scent, but lost it right by where she was last seen. Investigators believe she was abducted and quickly put into a car that sped away.
You miss her a lot?
Now in her 30s, being back here, right where it happened, Kimber can remember the thoughts in her head.
Was someone waiting, or, did someone literally stumble upon a child alone?
24 hours turned to 48 hours. No sign of Mikelle.
I want to say it was, one of the detectives or policemen talking to one or both of my parents. I remember sitting there and realizing that they were saying that we have a 3-day window before they're going to assume she's dead.
Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months turned to years. And then a lead.
Dee Blaylock lived in the same neighborhood as the Biggs. He was a registered sex offender.
Enter Mesa PD Detective Teresa Van Gelder.
This is the largest missing persons case in the history of Arizona. This entire wall that you see here contains file folders all dealing with this specific case.
Much of that wall, information on Dee Blaylock.
He apparently was at candlelight vigils and stuff that we had for her, but it was when he attacked his neighbor, Susan Quinnett, that's when he got on the radar.
In fact, it's that attack that Blaylock is spending the rest of his life in prison for.
He attempted to murder her and left her for dead. So again, now he was back on our radar that he was active and he was violent.
His wife had given police an alibi for him on the night Mikelle went missing, and his house was searched. But police call him an opportunist.
In 2018, I went and spoke with him. He still denies any kind of involvement.
Detective Van Gelder wasn't the only one to go speak to him in prison.
Your parents went to talk to him in jail. They believed that he did it. What did they recall in that conversation they had with him?
All I really remember of what they've said about that was that he seemed, I think, like split personality almost. Like, I believe before they met, they, exchanged some letters, and, he more or less made it seem like he would tell them what happened. And then they got there and he was like, no, I'm innocent.
Is it your professional opinion that he is involved in her disappearance?
I think he is our most likely investigative lead.
Do you think he did it?
I used to believe that he did. Now I have questioned that simply for the fact of just knowing everything that goes on in the world, knowing about sex trafficking and human trafficking in general.
The Biggs family does not believe Mikelle is still alive, but they do think she may be nearby, and so do police.
Do you think she's still in Arizona, whether she is alive or dead?
Yes. Again, based on the abduction, odds are that if she was killed, she was probably killed locally.
But neither detectives nor Kimber believe this is the end of the story.
I feel like nothing stays hidden forever. And, nothing stays a secret. We've always said somebody knows something.
That's all they need.
We absolutely need something new. We don't really care how or why it comes forward. We just need that little nugget of something that might lead us to where Mikelle is.
The only way we're going to solve this would be is if we get somebody that gives a confession and leads us to her, whether it's her or her remains.
I think it comes down to finding her body.
Whoever took Mikelle robbed Kimber of her childhood, her safety, and her trust.
You kind of forced me to grow up in ways that no 9-year-old should have to grow up.
The last person to see Mikelle alive will be the last to give up.
I personally will not be satisfied until I know who did it and, justice is served.